How you guys doing? This is another episode of Empowered Dynasty, and I am your guy, Q the Boss. This episode, we're talking about how to stay motivated and change your bad habits. Listen to this. Humans are naturally creatures of habit. Just so you know that, let's get that straight. And the habits you create become you. Listen to this again. Humans are creatures of habit. A lot of us are programmed to do certain things, and we don't even realize that it's naturally who we are at this point. To the point we waste money on frivolous things to make us feel better about ourselves. I feel like if people love themselves, they'll stop wasting money on things to make them feel better. Things should never make you feel better. Loving yourself should make you feel better. Every day I wake up in the mirror, I have a conversation with myself. And the conversation starts like this. Don't judge me, but this is how I talk to myself. Q, you're great. Q, you are amazing. Q, you will conquer. And today you will take on anything the world gives you with a smile. So at the end of the day, don't ever deviate from the things that come with life. You can't say that you want to be great, but yet and still, you're the one that wants the easiest battles. That don't make no sense. So again, with habits and being this creature of habit, you have to realize by reprogramming yourself, you're able to change certain things about your life. Let's say these things. Let's give a couple natural things that people tend to be bad at. One is being consistent. A lot of people are very inconsistent. And the reason why they're inconsistent is because it's been like that since they were children. It didn't start overnight. There's one way I like to tell people, how do you create good work ethic? The way you create good work ethic, let's just say you're 16, your first job is McDonald's. 9 out of 10 times you're gonna say, I'm not gonna be here long because I know for a fact this job is not good, and I'm like, okay, I get that. But here's the catch-22. If that's your job and that's what you're there to do, if you do it to the best of your ability, you will naturally create a great work ethic. Every time you have a job, if you take every job serious, you will naturally have a great work ethic. I've learned as a man now, everyone that did do that or always took jobs serious, they tend to be more advanced. And the people that used to say stuff like, I ain't gonna be here long, this job ain't my career, we understand that. But again, you're building work ethic. And by understanding we're creatures of habit. And you have to reprogram your mind and know that this is a habit I have to create. I've noticed that every job I've ever had, I've always done it to the best of my ability. And the reason why I do that is because I really want to become great. In order for me to become great, I had to sacrifice or change certain aspects of my life. See, again, I know I have habits, but I've programmed myself to create good habits by deviating from my old habits. So you can see things for what they are, but here's the problem, as I said before, we tend to spend more time on the problem opposed to the solution. So the problem is, I have bad habits. The solution is, I need to change my bad habits. So we know the common sense is, I have bad habits, and the common sense also is, I gotta change my bad habits. The cheat code to everything is being around people that motivate you. I used an analogy the other day about a trainer. Most people know how to work out, right? But most people don't have the ability or the willingness to get up every day and work out. So here's the catch. If you start hanging around people that work out every day, it'll motivate you to work out every day. You don't want to be the person that's not doing it, so you have nothing to relate to in that conversation. So if you keep yourself programmed around these people, it will motivate you to do more. And you'll start seeing it. It'll start slow, but you'll start seeing the change in oneself because you'll get inspired. If every day you're hanging out with 10 people that's talking about owning a house and you don't own a house, sooner or later you're gonna try to work hard to get a house because you can't relate to that conversation. But don't run away from that audience. What happens is we'll remove ourselves from that audience and try to find another audience that makes us feel good. That's why you lose. How can you win with that mentality? When you're saying to yourself, I'm uncomfortable here, so I'm gonna put myself somewhere where I'm comfortable. The most uncomfortable people are the ones who tend to be the most successful because they've made themselves so uncomfortable to the point now the uncomfortable things are not uncomfortable anymore. For instance, I used to have an issue with public speaking. I didn't like it. When I was in college, I took a class, public speaking class. The worst class of my life. I used to fear, I used to sweat, I used to pulse up and tense up and everything. I got nervous. And the reason being is because I was more worried about what people thought about me opposed to what I thought about myself. If I'm regurgitating great information that I've learned, what is the fear? What is the fear? there isn't any fear. The fear was in oneself. But as I started learning to love myself and accepting myself, I've noticed it became so much easier for me to talk in front of audiences, in front of crowds, because I know I'm speaking real information and I know what I'm doing is right. So what I'm saying is, I had to eliminate that habit. That habit was tensing up, worrying about what everybody thinks, looking around the room, hoping no one's staring too much at me. They're staring because they're ready to hear what I got to say. And now when I go in front of that room, you know what I do? I bring it. Because I know for a fact they're here to hear what I have to say. So again, naturally, knowing that you are a creature of habit, you have to program your habits. Sometimes you might have to write down your habits and start slow. Let's say another analogy that you're you're bad at saving. You know you're bad at saving. Start with $1 a day. $1 a day. Then intensify it. $2 a day. Then intensify it. The number one thing I tell you everyone should do is leave their debit card home. If you know you have bad spending habits, leave it at home. Because if you have access to it, you know you have bad spending habits, what are you naturally gonna do? Especially when you're in environments where you are who you are. You know you like to spend. So in order for you not to spend, you don't have access to your funding. So if you have no access to it, you won't spend it. This is how habits are created. And 9 out of 10 times, impulse purchasers or buyers, they do it in the moment, of course, because it's called impulse. They're impulsive. So if you eliminate the impulse, it's impossible for them to buy it because you don't have access to your money. So you can't buy it unless you consider yourself a thief. And that's a joke, you know? But what I'm trying to get at is the reality of all things is knowing yourself. You know, you have to know who you are and be honest with yourself. I feel like a lot of people aren't honest with themselves. I think they tell themselves a lot of lies. And I'm gonna go on record and say I feel like social media has given them the platform to do this. Social media is like, man, it's like a big lie. And people believe it to be real because they want to make themselves feel like, see, what I realize is that term, fake it till you make it, it's been misinformed. I tell you fake it till you make it. Let's say I'm very underdeveloped as far as electrical work. I don't know that much, but I'm looking for an opportunity to get into a job. So if I'm sitting with the owner of the company, he asks me, can I do electrical work? I'm gonna tell him I'm better than what I am. That's faking it till I make it because I'm using it to give me an opportunity. And now on the opportunity, I take advantage by learning more so I can get this opportunity. If I told him no, I would never got the opportunity. So that's faking it till you make it. Walking around portraying rich, spending your money to try to look rich, there's nothing coming out of that besides you being broke. So you faking it till you make it for what? I've noticed that most men do it for attention from other women. Women do it for attention from other women. I feel like a lot of women buy the bags. Men don't care about your bag. We care. You can have a shopping bag. We don't care. Men don't care about your red bottom shoes. So you must be wearing it for the same sex because men don't care about those things. We don't. You know, and that's the reality. I don't know no man about, oh my God, she got on the 2021 red bottoms. I've never met that guy. You know, and I just haven't met him. Do we exist? Maybe. But for me, I have never met him. So what I'm getting at is understanding who you are. You know, you have to reprogram your mind to know that you are your worst enemy. You know, they say my enemy is my worst enemy. You know, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and have these conversations. I told you my conversation starts like this. Q, you are amazing. You're great. And again, the number one thing I think I say to myself every day is, no matter what life gives me today, I'm gonna deal with it. And I'm not gonna whine and cry about it. So if life gives you lemons, they say, make lemonade. And understand that you have to be the chef of your life and cook yourself into greatness. Motivate yourself by being around motivated individuals. It's hard to be motivated if that's not who you are. Some people just naturally got a fuse they can light themselves and they can just blow up. Some people don't have it. So you gotta know yourself. You gotta say to yourself, I'm not that motivated. So by being around motivated individuals, it tends to help you grow faster. It's just what it is. You know, there are people who piggyback their way to success. That's a very intelligent person. They knew they weren't the Elon Musk, but they knew that they can literally put themselves next to Elon, and they've made tons of economics because of the fact of the decision of being around the right person. That's reality. I think that's a very smart person. That person is a person that say, I know I ain't the CEO, but I know I can make some money off the CEO. That's a smart person. But it tends to say that everyone wants to steer the boat and they want to be the captain of the yacht. You know, Beanie Siegel said, I'm not the captain of the boat. He said, I'm not the captain of the yacht, but I'm on the boat. Some people don't want to be on the boat. They want to steer it. They want to be the captain, but it might not be meant for you to be the captain. Everybody cannot be a billionaire. Let's just talk logic. Everybody may not be a millionaire. Let's talk logic. But everybody can be an investor, and everybody might not own businesses, but everybody can invest their money. And this is truth be told. Everybody can be an investor. Everybody. It's just what it is. You know. So again, we're learning who you are. You have to be honest with yourself. And I feel like that's the one thing a lot of people tend to not do. They're not honest with themselves. They tell themselves a ton of lies. They like to lie to themselves because the mind, I'm gonna tell you how crazy the mind is. The more you tell yourself a lie, the more you believe it. That's crazy if you think about it. You believe it. So if I tell myself I am 6'5" and I can dunk, if I tell myself this lie long enough, I don't believe I'm a 6'5" guy that used to dunk. And that's crazy. You know, and that's how strong the mind is. It believes its own foolishness. And understand that you have to tell yourself that this is who I am, but I want to become here. And coming up with a plan on how to get there. Check your checkpoints. A, I need to become more consistent. How do I become more consistent? Okay, here's the solution. Let me be around people that are more active doing what I'm trying to do. One, it helps my knowledge get better. Two, it gives me a network of people that's doing that. You know, it just makes sense. You know, I got into real estate. When I got into real estate, I started putting myself around people that were way more advanced than me. I used to pretend in the room like I was knowledgeable. And it's crazy because at one point I had 3 houses and didn't know nothing. I ain't gonna say nothing, but compared to the room I was in, I was like very intermediate. You know, they were way more advanced than me. But when they spoke, they had my full attention. And I was able to put myself in rooms where people who were more knowledgeable at what I wanted to learn. So therefore it helped elevate me psychologically to learn the knowledge and the terms. Because the term, I didn't know the terminology. I didn't know anything. So I just knew take a loan, buy a house. You know, I didn't understand flipping. And I tell people all the time, when I flipped my first house, I actually lost $40,000 on my first flip. And I only lost $40,000 because I watched HGTV and it lied to me. You know, it told me you can make money off of flipping like easy. In reality, it was more knowledge that I needed to learn that it didn't teach me. It seems very easy, you know, if you watch television shows. And that's what society does with social media. These platforms, these, what do you call them? The YouTubes, these things have created false narratives to make things sound easy. People like something called clickbait, and they've created clickbait to make you believe it. They'll tell you you can make money off of other people's money, but they don't tell you what that means. Making money off of other people's money means you go on your phone, you call your contacts of people you know and borrow money. That's how you make money off other people's money. But they don't say it on YouTube like that. They say it like, you can make money off of other people's money. You don't need your own money. It sounds amazing. But the reality of all things, if you're not skilled or know what you're doing or have the network to be able to borrow from, you cannot do it. And that's the reality. You know, a lot of people invest in money, cars, and materialism. And that's the sad part about why so many people haven't advanced. They're not going to advance because of the fact that these things are liabilities. I tell people all the time, learn to invest your time in assets. Meaning if I have a woman who's advancing with me, that's not a liability, that's actually an asset. We're building together. I tell people all the time, invest in friends who are positive and who are trying to motivate you, who are encouraging you, who tell you the truth. The truth. Let me say this on record. I am not hating on you because I'm telling you the truth. And I don't know who gave this memo, who started it, but it's not. Why would a person hate on you because they're telling you the truth? If you telling me, bro, you going to the NBA and you're horrible. If I say, what, am I wrong? Like, come on, the world gotta stop being so sensitive. We gotta stop being so sensitive. But again, understanding liabilities and assets. A lot of people invest their time in liabilities, meaning things of no retained value or gaining value. It can stay the same, it can still be considered an asset. You know, I got into art recently, and I started buying art because I see it as a future investment. And I've noticed that a lot of people have diversified portfolios, and I've diversified my portfolio. And one thing I want people to understand is by being an investor, you have to learn something called portfolio. And portfolios is what a lot of wealthy people have and rich people have. Their money is diversified. It's not in one station. You know, for me, I invest in real estate. I invest in a pharmacy, club, barbershop. And the reason why I invest in multiple factors is because of the fact that my money has to be, I'm also invested in the stock market. I'm also invested in crypto. I invest a lot of money in different things, you know, because of the fact that your money has to be diversified. But if I don't know these things, how would I grow? And there's a term that I like to use in all ways of life, in all walks of life. Exposure leads to expansion. The mind is not exposed, the mind won't expand. The mind is like this. And the more the mind sees it, it grows. It grows. It's like planting a seed and nurturing it, you know, with sunlight, with water. And you know, you take care of it, you fertilize it, and you'll start seeing, again, before you see anything sprout from the ground, well, notice it started underground. Things already started happening, but you ain't see it. So sometimes before we see it come out, we give up. Meanwhile, what you were actually working on is about to sprout. Now that next person come along like Tyler, he pours a little bit of water on it, it sprouts. Now he's benefiting from what the labor and all the hard intensified work I put in because I didn't have the patience. Exercise patience. Know that nothing plus nothing equals nothing, and nothing happens overnight. Everything takes time. And any person that has a plan and that's sticking to their plan, they will ultimately see results. Because having a plan is having a purpose. And by having a purpose, you're actually able to do something significant with your life. I've noticed that most people really have no plan. They just navigate in the waters. And wherever they land, and it's like taking a rock and throwing it in the ocean and hope it hits something. Look how big the ocean is. The world is mostly water. So if you take a rock and throw it in the ocean and pray that it hits something, that's not gonna work. Even as a musician, I tell a lot of these guys, they come in my space, they rap or they do music. And I'm like, you wanna be a rapper, I get it. But you still have to have a plan on how to push your music out to the audiences. How are you gonna get it to the masses? But we just take music and throw it up on Spotify, SoundCloud, on YouTube, and we think that's gonna help us grow. And I'm like, no, you have to have a plan. Everything is a plan. And by having a plan, you're able to navigate yourself to the levels that you're trying to get at. Truth be told, inconsistency has hindered a lot of great people. They're very inconsistent. And the sad part is a guy that loves to base potential on people. I can look at a person and see their potential. And for me, I've always noticed that these people, their inconsistencies, you know, they speak great, they act great, but their work ethic sucks. And truth be told, some of the most wealthiest people I've come across, they tend to have great work ethic. And the story I want to tell you is when I remember when I bought my club, you know, the first nights I had a lot of celebrities in there, Chris Browns and you name it, Tory Lanez and 50s and a lot of different people, Cardi B's and Offsets and a lot of different people. One night we had a guy, very wealthy real estate guy. He was coming and my partner had to run to Home Depot to get a light. And he said to me, yo, Q, let me go to Home Depot, let the guy in when he comes. I said, all right, no problem. The first time he calls me, he said, yo, he's at the back door. I run to the back door, I open the door, I look in the Range Rover, no one's in the Range Rover. I slam the door. My partner calls me a second time. He said, yo, why are you not letting this guy in? I said, bro, I open the door, nobody's there. He said, yo, go open the door again. I went the second time, I looked into the Mercedes. No one was in the Mercedes. I slammed the door. Got a phone call the third time. My partner started yelling like, yo, bro, that's crazy. You doing this guy like that, and this guy is somebody, bro. He's doing really well. We can learn a lot from him. So I said, you know what, you're right. I went out there the third time. I put my whole body out the door. I said, nobody's here. All of a sudden, a little guy started coming out a car, And as he started coming out the car, he started walking towards me. I said to myself, this is one of the very most intimate moments I'm gonna have with this guy, maybe forever. This is a moment where I can learn something. Let me ask him some questions. So I said to him, it's crazy, my mindset was at this time, why do you drive a Prius? You know what the guy said to me? He said it's good on gas to go collect my rent. And when he said that, it resonated. It changed my perspective about everything. And knowing that his wealth wasn't worn or shown in a car. It's shown because of what his credentials are. He kept telling me it doesn't matter. And even though at that level, his economical status, he still was conscious. And I've noticed that as I'm going up more and more, the most conscious people are the financially aware, are the ones who are doing well because of their perspective of life and the way they think. And it took me a while to learn this. We tend to believe that people live like rappers and they blowing their money, but that's not true. Being consistent with yourself, work on your habits, learn that you are your worst enemy. Your inner self is your worst self. Again, fight for what you want and put yourself around it. That is the biggest cheat code that any person could have told me. Stay around people who keep you motivated, who elevate your mind, and who show you that anything is achievable. Like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and comment. Guys, and definitely share the video. I'm Q the Boss, and also follow me on Instagram at QTheBoss516. I appreciate you guys, and you guys stay safe. Love you guys. Peace.